Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, really dig in, and pull out those key nuggets of knowledge. Our goal, to help you get genuinely well-informed, without drowning in information. Today, we're diving into something that, well, it feels a bit like sci-fi, but it's also becoming incredibly real, incredibly fast. Artificial intelligence. Yeah, we've got this really fascinating personal account here. Someone who went from, let's say, AI curious, maybe even a bit wary, to fully adopting it. This piece lays out the good, the bad, the promises, the potential perils, and the actual practical ways AI is changing things day to day. So our mission for you today is to unpack this personal journey, really understand the practical shifts AI is causing, and think about the bigger picture, the implications of its seemingly an unstoppable rise. We're going to explore how AI, despite some really big, frankly quite unsettling threats, became totally indispensable for this one person and what that might signal for, well, for all of us. Okay, let's get into it. So this source, it kicks off right where a lot of the public chat about AI begins, the potential threats, the big ones. I mean, the author doesn't hold back. They mention AI possibly, wiping us out, think nuclear warheads, shutting off power grids, water supplies, scary stuff, but also the more subtle things too, like AI needing way more energy than we can produce, or, and this is a big one, potentially getting rid of most jobs.
It is striking, isn't it, how they frame it right up front. Before even getting into how useful it can be, they hit you with the potential dangers.
Right.
And then almost immediately the privacy angle, pointing out that these chatbots, they're now joining the list, doctors, lawyers, banks, Facebook, X, all collecting huge amounts of our personal data.
Yeah.
And that data, well, it's used to make their language models smarter, better, which ultimately filters back to benefit the big tech companies. It really sets a certain tone from the start.
It absolutely does. So you've got this built-in tension right away. AI, the potential threat, AI, the privacy vacuum. But then the author shifts. They talk about this constant pressure, this call to embrace AI, learn it, master it, especially if you work in tech, the implication being if you don't, you risk becoming obsolete, right, out of a job. And so our author, they did just that. They leaned in, embraced it. And this is where the personal story gets really interesting, right? They talk about their own experience, started using AI here and there, soon after ChatGPT launched back in late 2022, just dabbling. But the real change, the shift to using it every single day, that didn't kick in until early 2025. And the trigger, it wasn't some grand tech revelation. It was honestly kind of mundane. They got a new phone, a Pixel 9 Pro XL, and it came with a free year of Gemini Pro. That's like, what, $240 worth? They just didn't want to waste it.
Huh. That's actually quite funny, but also really telling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, what actually pushes us over the edge from just playing around with something to making it essential? And the author says, once they started really using Gemini Pro, digging into it, they found themselves using it way more than standard search. They realized it was, and this is their quote, orders of magnitude more powerful. That free trial hook really worked, apparently.
So what does that actually mean, though, for looking stuff up, how we find information? Well, the author's clear. Traditional search isn't dead. It's still useful in lots of cases. But AI search, specifically Gemini Pro for them, it's different. It gets context. It can handle multiple ideas in one go. Plus, it searches like the whole internet and gives back these really well-written summaries, synthesized information.
And connecting that to the bigger picture. Okay?
Right.
Yes, AI can definitely confabulate. It can make things up. That's a known risk we have to watch out for. But its ability to understand context, to pull together information from all over the web and present it coherently, that's a huge advantage. It totally explains why this person now does most searches in Gemini Pro. They shifted away from Bing or regular Google search. It's that context and synthesis power.
Right. And it's not just search anymore, is it? They mention using Google NotebookLM Plus for all sorts of things, like getting feedback on grammar and spelling for articles they're writing. Generating audio summaries sounds a bit like what we do. And even doing research and getting help with programming tasks. They even talk about Gemini Pro on their phone, how it powers most mobile searches now, and how it can use the phone's camera to sort of see the world and give feedback. It's gone beyond just useful. They call AI an indispensable tool. A veritable Swiss Army knife for, well, pretty much everything intellectual. Research, writing, coding.
That's quite the journey, isn't it? From, oh, this is kind of neat, to I literally can't function effectively without this. And they admit it. They say they initially saw AI as just a curiosity, something maybe they weren't creative enough for or didn't quite see the need for. Played around with images, asked simple questions, but didn't get its real potential, how amazingly powerful it is. But now, they're so reliant on it, to the point where if it vanished tomorrow, they say they'd, quote, lose their ability to easily traverse the world's stores of knowledge. That's a heavy statement. Real dependence.
Yeah, it really is. And this personal reliance, it mirrors a much bigger bet, right?
Yeah.
The source points out these huge tech companies globally, they've sunk tens of billions into AI. They've, in some ways, risked it all, as the author puts it, hoping for massive payoffs.
Which loops us right back to where we started, that initial tension. The author wraps up by saying, look, if AI is as big a deal as these companies think it is, then yeah, it might take my job and yours, and it might even end our lives. They don't shy away from that possibility.
Still acknowledges the big risks.
Exactly. But the key takeaway, the final point they land on, is that right here, right now, we kind of have no choice but to use it. Yeah. We need to see how it can help us and to see where it will take us. The unavoidable conclusion, according to this source, AI is here to stay.
So, okay, let's process this. What does this journey, this one person's deep dive into AI, mean for you, listening in? We've tracked how their view shifted dramatically, didn't it? From seeing AI as this potential distant threat to it becoming absolutely essential. And driven not by some grand mandate, but by, well, convenience, a free subscription, and then just the raw power of these new tools.
It really throws this fascinating paradox into sharp relief, one many of us are probably feeling. This tech that carries genuine existential risk is simultaneously weaving itself into the fabric of our daily lives, almost without us noticing sometimes. It's changing how we find info, how we write, how we work, and the sheer amount of money being poured into it by big tech just cements its place. It's clearly not going anywhere.
That final line from the author, we have no choice but to use it, it really lingers, doesn't it? It's not about just accepting it blindly, but more about, okay, let's actively figure out how this helps us, how we can leverage it, while at the same time keeping a very clear eye on its, well, its huge and sometimes pretty scary potential downsides. Which leaves us and you with this final thought to chew on, maybe after this deep dive is over. If AI truly is here to stay, and if we really do have no choice but to use it, then how exactly do we navigate what's coming? What new responsibilities does this put on us as individuals, as a society, to actually harness this incredible power effectively while also working like really hard to manage and mitigate those very significant risks? Something to think about.